This is Miss Mabel. This is a 1959 VW. She was produced in October of '59, which makes her a really late model '59, first start of the production years for the '60s. So there's some bits and pieces. If you're a car guy, there's no such thing as a one-year-only car. It doesn't happen. You got high production numbers on a high production run, they're going to use whatever they've got up on the pin. Let that go up to voicemail. So anyway, what we've got here is a 1959 VW Ragtop Beetle. We've had this car, I personally had this car for almost 15 years. So I picked up this car way back in when I was still working white collar, and dinked around with it, and then I retired about 11 years ago and moved out here and opened up a shop. This is what I've always wanted to do. It's like I've built dozens of cars before I've done this. So this is my passion. So I had the opportunity to go do what I wanted to do and get paid to do this. I'll make cool shit like this. I dragged this car around with me for probably 10 years. It sat in my garage for another 5. We had the opportunity to build the car. We got invited to something called the Ultimate Build-Off in Las Vegas. It's October 1st through the 4th. And it's at Town Square Mall, right there on the Strip. There's 20 companies, or there's 20 builders. We have 3 basic rules. We can't spend any more than $20,000 on parts. It has to be an air-cooled VW when it left the factory. And that's about it. And you gotta have fun doing it. I forgot what the third rule is. Oh, we have a year to build it. So we started this car in official production on probably November 1st, November 2nd of last year. So that involved taking it all the way down. So every bit, every bolt, every nut, every component has been removed, looked at, inspected, replaced if we need to replace it, fixed if we need to fix it. We've done upgrades throughout the way. You know, this car, you know, a little bit about the upgrades. You know, we've got a modern suspension on there. We've got front disc brakes. We've got one of our special rear end suspensions. We've got a little bit larger than powerful motor from the factory, so we can actually get up around town. The transmission's actually built to handle the car. So the car has actually been engineered to work and look gorgeous doing it. So anyway, the promoter had contacted me back in October and said, hey, you want to come do this? And I go, what is this? And he said, well, there's 10 of you guys. And I go, what do you mean there's 10 of us? He says, well, there's 10 shops that are in your class nationwide. I said, really? Who are they? And he listed off a couple of them. And the first 2 he listed off, one was a personal friend. The second one was actually a mentor and somebody I looked up to when I was a hobbyist. And I said, who was number 3 on the list? He said, you were. He says, in order to make this work, I have to have the top 10 shops at the show. Are you in? And it's like, yeah, we're in. So we got to drag this thing out to Vegas. The cool part is I get to build, you know, dreams and shit. When these cars leave here, they're brand new. So as you'll get shots in the car, it's flipping gorgeous. This is kinetic art. And when we design a car, we truly do design a car. One of the design philosophies we've got is if it catches your eye, it doesn't belong in the car. We want our stuff to flow from point A to point B, never interrupting your eye, never drawing your attention until you really start to look at it. We've got some really cool stuff on this car, and I might show you some of it, but I ain't gonna show it all. Yeah. You know, there's 2 rules in life. Number 1 is don't tell them all your secrets. Right. So we can go over the top, but we typically will fire those kind of clients. We've had a couple clients that have wanted to drop 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 with us per car, and we said no after we found out what he wanted to do, because it's not us, it's not our style. You know, I gave him, you know, here's 2 other builders, and I think 2 of them have TV shows. I'm sure they'd be happy to put a fish tank in the back of your car. No, we want to do it right. You know, our nut and bolt restoration, what we're known for is ground up quality restoration. We don't want 50 years when these cars go in for their next cycle. I don't want some guy like me going, what are these guys thinking?
So y'all's aesthetic is a little more refined.
Very refined, very refined. I don't want anything interrupting. And the parts that you do not see, the underneath sides of these cars, they're as gorgeous as the top of the cars. I mean, every nut, every bolt, every component. If you see anything on the car, everything on the inside looks like that. So, I mean, we take it to the nines.
Airkooled Kustoms in Hazel Green is one of a handful of Volkswagen restoration shops who've been invited to show their stuff and compete on the national stage. And WHNT News 19's David Wood shows you what they're working on to hopefully blow the competition away.
Here in the boneyard at Airkooled Kustoms, it's less like a place where beetles and buses come to die and more like where they come to be reborn. Whether it's sex and candy in ginger or a sleek red 73, Airkooled Kustoms handles it all, usually for their clientele. But after the invite to compete against the top 10 shops in the country at the Ultimate VW Build-Off in Las Vegas, they're taking some artistic liberties with the sultry Miss Mabel here.
I make cool stuff like this.
A vampy 59 Beetle ragtop with only 3 rules.
We can't spend any more than $20,000 on parts. It has to be an air-cooled VW when it left the factory. That's about it.
Well, and they have 1 year to build it and get her out to Vegas. The overall concept is classic with a modern twist, melding original, custom fabrication and computer-designed elements. The closer you look, the cooler she gets. The paint job does stuff my camera can't even show you. They started last November, taking Mabel all the way down.
So every bit, every bolt, every nut, every component.
And Mabel won't just be sleek and curvy with her modern suspension and engine. She's built to work.
And look gorgeous doing it.
Hopefully, Vegas judges will agree. In Hazel Green, David Wood, WHNT News 19.
Curves are good. For more behind-the-scenes photos of Miss Mabel's transformation on her way to Vegas, just click the Airkooled Kustoms link on WHNT.com.